Hey Storm fans, Bryant Cook, and today we're playing Pauper Cycle Storm. If you're a fan of this channel and you watch my Pauper content, you would have noticed about a month ago I released a video on Tolarian Winds Sprouting Vines combo, and at the end of that video I talked about how I was taking a hiatus from Pauper, how I don't like the format. That is still true. Honestly, I think Pauper kind of sucks. The format's just not healthy. I disagree with the Pauper format panel. They cite that they believe the format's healthy because there's 8 competitive decks, a total of 8. You heard it. There's 8 competitive decks. That's good enough, but not my place to rant today. I just disagree with them full-heartedly. I think it's actually just trash. But um, there's a brand new card from, actually there's a few of these. It's a cycle from Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle Earth. It's a cycling creature, and today we will be playing Troll of Khazad-dûm, which is a 6 mana troll creature. It's a 6/5. It needs 3 creatures in order to be able to be blocked, and it swamp cycles for 1 mana, which means that you discard it from your hand, you search your deck for a swamp. This is not the list we will be playing today. In fact, this is the list that I was playing before the set was released. And you'll see here as Otherworldly Gaze and Maestro's Theater, and then Writhing Necromass in the sideboard. Those are notable cards to point out. This was my first attempt at a list. So there's no Maestro's Theater. I've changed Exhume over Writhing Necromass, and then down here we have 4 Trolls of Khazad-dûm. We went down 1 land because we're adding in 4 land cyclers, and then there's no Otherworldly Gaze. So Otherworldly Gaze requires you to have a lot of islands in your deck so that way you can cast it early. It's a card that we play because it speeds us up. It puts creatures in the graveyard, and it finds our key card. Well, there's 2 things wrong with this. Troll of Khazad-dûm rewards swamps, not islands. In fact, there's not an island cycler. Well, there sort of is. There's Lorien Revealed, which isn't a creature. And our deck doesn't reward us for instants or sorcery, so we don't really have a desire to play this. In fact, this is the only card in the cycle that's not a creature. I would probably guess that whoever designed this cycle at Wizards was worried about Modern Living End, and they didn't want to give Living End another creature. So, womp womp. Speaking of which, go check out my Living End video. You can find it in the card above, where I played the other 2 cards in the cycle. I played Oliphant, the red one, and then Generous Ent, and honestly, they're broken. 5-cent cards that upgraded a modern deck, and it's truly very good. Definitely go check out that video. But, so there's no island, and we don't have, like, yeah, you can go get your Contaminated Aquafire, but it's not a fast play. And if it's not going to be fast, like if you have to take a turn off to cycle to then go get your island swamp that comes into play tapped, and then you're casting Otherworldly Gaze, it's just a really slow process. So we're not playing Otherworldly Gaze anymore, and instead we're just playing 4 Trolls of Khazad-dûm. This brings us up to 30 creatures. This is the most that I've played in this archetype in a very, very, very long time since I started playing Cycle Storm altogether. So pretty excited about that because that means that our Songs of the Damned are going to be more effective. Same thing with Reaping the Graves. And then on top of that, you get extra cyclers for things like Drannith Stinger or Drannith Healer, and that's just pretty sweet. So I played this list, and one thing that I found is that Barrenmoor was the land that I chose, because if we're thinning out swamps, then you probably want something to add consistency since we cut out Otherworldly Gaze. Barrenmoor was not it. I hated this list, if I'm being honest. And part of it was just so many tap lands between Contaminated Aquafire, the Barrenmoors, and it wasn't just tap lands, it was also, I struggled getting blue mana, because there would be games where I'd open up on double Barrenmoor and then I would draw a swamp, and I could never cast Repository Scob or Mystical Teachings. It was just incredibly awkward. So this was a list. The Exhumes in the sideboard are for Troll of Khazad-dûm or Horror of the Broken Lands. So the idea is that you can have a fast Dark Ritual, cycle your creatures into Exhume. But unlike Writhing Necromass, this card is actually pretty good on the combo turn. So you can use it to return Drannith Stinger or Drannith Healer to gain life, since this list does not have Dahada's Ploy. And then you could also return Repository Scob. If you go way back, and I'm talking way back, like over a year ago, I went undefeated in a Pauper Challenge after the banning of Atog. And it was the first time I played 2 Repository Scob and Exhumes, and it was just like 2 black mana regrowth and Pauper. It was very, very, very powerful. So you get to do that again when you board in the Exhumes, and that was pretty sweet. So I tried this in a league, ultimately didn't go that well, but mana was the biggest issue here. All right, so this was a Grixis list that I came up with, and this is much closer to what we'll be playing today. So here we have Theater and Aquafire, so we're still playing 5 tap lands. I talked about how tap lands can be an issue in a format defined by mono red and Monastery Swiftspear. It's just the name of the game. That said, this one gains a life, so it offsets that first attack by Monastery Swiftspear, and I think that's actually pretty helpful. On top of that, it provides color fixing. It goes and gets our island, so you're not stuck not being able to cast your Repository Scob or your Mystical Teaching. You still have Troll of Khazad-dûm, you still have Exhume, and with Troll of Khazad-dûm, excuse me, Troll of Khazad-dûm, you can get Geothermal Bog just like you can the Contaminated Aquafire. So you're really good at mana fixing. And that was a really nice thing here. So you have 4 fetches for your basic island, and then you have 4 fetches for your dual land. You have the same thing with Geothermal Bog and your Sideboard Mountain. So I played this in a league last night, and I'll be honest, I was pretty upset. The first round I got paired against Mono Red. They turn 3'd me twice. They won the die roll. They turn 3'd me. I won game 2. I won on turn 4, I believe. They mulliganed to a relic, and I had Ingot Chewer, and I just won on turn 4. And then in game 3, they were on the play, and they turned 3'd me. And it was just not fun. Not even a little bit. Double Monastery Swiftspear burn spells. Like, it is ridiculous that the mono red deck gets to turn 3 you, or outgrind you with Reckless Impulse and Ren's Resolve, or go wide with Kadaltha Rebirth. It's just too good. But I'm going to try to hold my rants. And then round 2, I got destroyed by mono blue fairies. They just had a pretty strong start. Game 2, they had Relic. This is Pauper. So I think that we're playing a deck that's no longer quite as competitive as the other top 8 decks of the format, but this is my Pauper deck. This is what I love about the format, and I'm going to play it today. I'd be pretty happy if we finished with a 3-2 record, given how much graveyard hate there is in the format. That graveyard hate is mostly for Dimir Terror, and it's just a side effect that it's extremely good against us. But this is almost the list. There's one more small change we made here, and this is what I'll actually be playing today, and no Exhume. Instead, we're playing a main deck Darkness, a sideboard Dahada's Ploy, and then a main deck Dahada's Ploy. So one thing that I learned in that league last night was that double teachings can be a little bit clunky, but also we're slower. We don't have Otherworldly Gaze anymore, and that means that we're more of a turn 4 deck than we are a turn 3 deck. Like, you could turn 3 pretty often with Otherworldly Gaze, but that's not an option we have anymore. So because of that, I want the extra little bit of life gain in our main deck. Maybe it will have an impact, I'm unsure. But I don't think Exhume is actually that powerful in the format, even though, yeah, you can bring back your Troll of Khazad-dûm or your Horror of the Broken Lands. So instead, we're playing Darkness for decks like Bogles or Mono White Heroic, Mono Green, etc. And when we look at the Pauper metagame here, so here's Kadaltha Red, or Burn as some people call it. It's not actually Burn anymore, it's just Mono Red that has Lightning Bolts in it. Like, it's a mid-range. Calling it a mid-range deck isn't fair. It has a mid-range element to it. It's not just 1 mana deal 3 spells. Like, it has card draw, it has creature generation. Like, it does a lot. So Exhume not good in this matchup. Affinity Exhume is not good there. It is decent against Gruul Panza, I will say that. I do think that is one matchup where Exhume is fine. Not good against fairies because they have snaps and other things. Walls combo, you're never going to attack them 4 times with a troll before they can kill you. Not good against Dimir Terror, where they can mill and then bring back a creature. They're also just a deck with tons of efficient removal and counter spells. Not fast enough versus Bogles. Probably not good enough against Jeskai Ephemerate. Like, you could try it, but I'm not sure if it's actually decent there. Terrible against the snap deck because, well, they can snap our targets. So then you have Boros, where you can often be outraced, but on top of that, they have Journey into Nowhere, I believe it's called. Coggates, similar issues. Journey into Nowhere, but no snaps. Probably not good enough against the Orzhov Ephemerate deck that leans on the initiative. Same thing with Boros here. So where is Exhume good? Like, it's really not. And I guess that's sort of my issue. Like, we're never going to be able to attack for lethal before our opponents get to do their thing. Like, Pauper's just degenerated into hyper efficient decks at the top, and nothing else is really good. So, I mean, the Pauper format panel said top 8 decks. I don't think Jeskai Ephemerate is a top 8 deck, personally. So we have these 4, or these 7, and then like maybe the black-green garden deck, but I don't think that deck is real. I think that deck was sort of a flash in the pan fluke. So if you're not playing one of these decks, like, you're sort of doing yourself a disservice. And that's one of my bigger issues with the format. I think it's just unjust that the Pauper format panel has told us that if you want to be playing a competitive deck, you have to pick one of these 7. Because they want to keep Monastery Swiftspear and the Bridges legal. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed my rant. I'll quit talking about the Pauper format panel, and we can go play some Pauper with Cycle Storm. I'll see you in the first match. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop, or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Alright, match number 1, we're on the play. Sure, keep. This sort of hand makes me wonder if you want to burn the Dark Ritual on the second turn to try to hit the second land. And just like progress your game plan a little bit faster. Yeah, you're down a card, but like hitting that land drop might be important enough. We'll see what our opponent's playing and then make a decision. Seagate. So they're not a fast deck. They choose green. Could be Tron? Alright, I'm going to burn the Dark Ritual. Cycle Imposing Vantasaur. And another. Alright, no land yet. Cycle the Architects. Alright, we missed on our land. Also, we could have found a Troll of Khazad-dûm there. That would have been pretty good. And they are, in fact, on Tron. Energy Refractor. Draw. There's a Troll. Okay, that's a good one. We're going to grab a basic here, just play the basic and pass. Tron is a tough matchup because they have crop rotation into Bojuka Bog, and there's not a lot we can do to beat that. Our opponent plays an Expedition map. That can go get a Bojuka Bog. There's one crop rotation in most lists at the moment. So if our opponent has the 1 of crop rotation, congratulations. We'll cycle. Another creature, okay. We have 7 cards in graveyard, so we do have Threshold. I think I'm going to pass. So I could cycle, but I don't want to play into Bojuka Bog looking for my 3rd land. They grab Urza's Mine. They play it in their passing. They have 7 cards in hand. Cycle Vantasaur. I would have hit the land too, that stinks. Cycle a healer. Okay, so no Songs of the Damned yet. Draw for turn, it's another theater. Okay, so we'll play the land and pass. I wouldn't be surprised if they have an unset Mystical Teacher here. And they do. They grab crop rotation. So this now is a foil to our deck because at any point they can have an instant speed Bojuka Bog. They play a Muldrifter. Yep. I don't know if we can realistically win this game. I think we'd have to get pretty lucky. Cycle. Cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. Songs of the Damned. Come on. Nope. So we're over 33% of the way through the deck. We have not found a Songs of the Damned yet. This is a window for us to try to win. Cycle the Street Wraith. Khazad-dûm's Ploy. This could have been a Mystical Teachings. I did initially in my drafts have 2 Teachings, no Ploy. Play the Lotus Petal. Attempt a Cabal Ritual. That resolves. Cycle. Okay, I guess we'll keep cycling. Another Troll. We're just not finding Songs of the Damned, unfortunately. Dark Ritual. Let's Khazad-dûm's Ploy. Discard the Theater. Dark Ritual. Let's attempt Songs of the Damned and see if they crop rotation. They are going to crop rotation, okay. So Storm is currently 7. We can now Reaping the Graves. Return Street Wraith. Then some other creatures. We'd have to get pretty lucky to win this. And now the Bojuka Bog can resolve. We will cycle the Street Wraith. Dark Ritual probably would have been our best draw off that, but instead we drew Troll of Khazad-dûm. And now we'll cycle again. We haven't played a land yet, so I could just cycle the Troll and guarantee that we have a land. This now makes 2 whole mana. Be impressed. Alright, so we'll cycle again. Cycle a Street Wraith. Okay, so we have to pass the turn here. They have the Bojuka Bog in play, which is half the battle. But now what needs to happen is we need them to not have Ghostly Flicker. They attack for 2. Another Energy Refractor, okay. 6 mana. They flashback Mystical Teachings. This can go get the Ghostly Flicker, and they do. And now they can flicker Bojuka Bog whenever they want. Okay. Depository Scob. Cycle the Vantasaur. Player Aquafire. We'll pass the turn. They cast an Impulse. They just have all the mana in the world at this point. Ouch. 17. Mnemonic Wall, so now they can get back Impulse, I guess. So what they could have done is use the Ghostly Flicker and then play the Mnemonic Wall and get the Flicker back. They play another map. Cycle a Healer. All Ritual's a fine draw. Cycle an Architects. So we have 20 cards in our deck, which means that there's 33% of our deck left. In that 33%, we have 3 Songs of the Damned and 3 Reaping the Graves. Looks like they're going to flicker now. I think that was a good spot to do it. And they still have flicker available because they have the Energy Refractor. So we're pretty much just hard locked out of this game. Okay, let's start cycling, I guess. Reaping the Graves, cycle a Vantasaur, cycle a Stinger, another Reaping, cycle Stinger. That's 4 cards in graveyard. There's a Songs. Cycle Stinger. Like, Dark Ritual is the card we want here. That one's interesting. Dark Ritual or Songs of the Damned. That's really what we want. And there's a chance we win. That was good enough too. Okay, so we can win this. It requires our opponent being a little bit messy, but it's possible. Cabal Ritual. Come on, try to bog me here, please. So I can try to Reaping. And if they try to flicker in response, I can win. I think that's probably the line. Because I have double Reaping, I don't have double Songs. It looks like they're going to go for it here. Oh, they're rethinking. They're going to let the trigger resolve, which is what they should do. Alright, now will you do it? No, they're just going to let it happen. Okay, cycle. We have 2 songs we can hit here. Cycle. That wasn't one of the songs. I think they got me. If they would have cast the Ghostly Flicker there, there's a shot I could win. But they wisely waited, and they got me. Okay. We'll go to the next game. I think we want the extra lands. Tron is a deck that traditionally doesn't play Relic or anything like that, so we don't need a board-in Ingot Chewer. We are interested in Pyroblast. Alright, so we're at 66 cards. There's a few ways that you can try to approach the matchup. You can try to, like, beat them out of the gate by being ultra fast, and that is a pretty effective way to win. You can also try to beat them down with creatures like Horror of the Broken Lands and assume that they've boarded out all of their removal. I've tried that in the past. Like, this is one matchup where Exhume is okay, but I've also had it fail a number of times, so it's sort of tough. But I do sort of like boarding out at least a few copies of Lotus Petal, because I think lands end up being important versus control decks. Now you're at 64. We're at 30 creatures, so I think you can afford to board out some creatures. Probably these Architects. You could also board out the Ploy. I don't think Ploy is super good in this matchup. Bring back in 1 Architects. Let's try this out. On the play for game 2. Sure. My fear with a hand like this is not cycling into more creatures, but you can't mulligan this. They play a turn 1 Seagate. They choose green. We'll cycle a Vantasaur. Another Reaping. Creature. That's awkward. Yep. Okay. They have a map. Land pass. There's still 26 other creatures in our deck. Worth noting. They evoke a Mole Drifter. Okay. They have 7 cards in hand. Well, we have lands for days, that's for sure. Play an Impulse. Yours is mine. So they're going to have Tron online next. Come on, Doc. Pass. I mean, I could... Like, if I had 2 creatures, I would probably just Reaping the Graves. But with only 1, I don't want to burn Reaping the Graves on 1 creature. They now have Energy Refractor. They're going to clean up. They discard a Crystal Grotto. Draw another land. Okay. Pass the turn. Mystical Teaching. They grab another Mystical Teachings. Okay. They play a map. They use it immediately for another Urza's Tower. Hey, we drew a creature. Let's cycle. And another? What? That's unbelievable. Cycle the Stinger. Now we can cycle the Troll for a land. Play the land and pass. If they try to Bazooka Bog us, we can respond and try to get some of our value back. They flashback Mystic instead of casting the one in their hand. They grab a Ghostly Flicker. That means that they probably already have the Singleton Crop Rotation in their hand. The Mole Drifter. Yep. They have 9 cards. 2 lands. Okay. Street Wraith. Let's cycle that. Another Street Wraith. Cycle. We're not going to play the land. Let's start off with the Songs of the Damned and see if that resolves. They respond with a Mystical Teachings. Okay. They grab Unwind. We're going to respond to this Unwind. I have 4 Pyroblast in my deck. Okay, this is our spot to try to win this game. We stumbled in the beginning, but this is a real window. We have to find one of our 4 copies of Pyroblast. We have 7 creatures in the graveyard. So I guess I can return the Troll as the initial target. Street Wraith, and then the other. Cycle. Okay. Blood Celebrant. Wrong red card. Come on, deck. Cycle of Vantasaur. There we go. We'll counterspell the Unwind. Okay, so now the healer resolves. Tap the island. Cabal Ritual. I believe we have this game now. Cycle. Another Cabal Ritual. Again. And the opponent concedes. Wow, we got away with one there. I feel like we got very lucky. Game 1, our opponent showed a ton of discipline. Game 2, I think they jumped the gun right there. Now we have to steal game number 3. So one thing I could do is board out 2 Lotus Petals for 2 Architects if we think that not hitting creatures will be a problem. It just means that we're not quite as fast. But maybe being on the draw, being fast isn't as important anymore. Let's try this. Good hand. We will keep. Turn 1 Urza's Mind into Expedition Map. Play the Theater. So I know that we just drew an Architects. I think we're supposed to go grab the Mountain. We have more red cards in our deck than we do blue cards. But on top of that, we could just play out a Stinger and start attacking. Like, we can hope that our opponent boarded out all the removal and that Stinger just gets the job done in play. Let's go. How often have you seen in my videos me just hardcast Stinger on turn 2? Oh no, what is this? Condescend? What? Oh, that's brutal. Okay. That is a one of. I knew it was a possibility. I saw it in their deck list. Not necessarily their deck list, but like the MTG Goldfish, like archetype deck list. Okay, they have a C8. So we're off the beatdown Stinger plan. Cycle a healer. Player land. Pass the turn. They use map. They grab Urza's Tower. Okay. Book Mole Drifter? Sure. They have 5 cards in hand now. Cycle the... I mean, I could... Hold on. Should I try to go beatdown with Horror of the Broken Lands? That's another way I can win this up. Kind of into it. Alright, so I'm 1 man off. Do I want to burn the Dark Ritual? I think I'm okay spending the Dark Ritual. And then we'll play Horror of the Broken Lands. I purposely tapped the Mountain for a split second and then untapped it to make my opponent think about Pyroblast. Horror of the Beatdown. They do not have Tron. What are you doing? Is this a hardcast Mnemonic Wall? Okay. I was going to say hardcast Mole Drifter. They give back Condescend. So if we can find like a Cabal Ritual and they don't block, maybe we can create lethal. That's not a bad one. Let's see if they block. Swing. They're thinking. They're at 20. They announced no blocks. We're going for it. Okay. We just need to find like a Cabal Ritual here, and this will do. Another Vantasaur. Cycle and Architects. This will be 8. I think that's going to do it. Cycle Vantasaur. Wow, Horror of the Beatdown. Cycle Vantasaur. That's 12. Now we get to return 4 Cyclers, which will be 20. Okay. We won! We won! That was a sick matchup. We came back, we beat a bad matchup in Tron. Instant Speed Crop Rotation Bazooka Bog never stood a chance. I'm joking. We got very lucky here. Alright, we're 1-0. Let's see how we do in match number 2. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Match 2, we're on the play. I faced this person a while ago, and they were on Boros. I mean, who knows if they still play Boros. Their icon is also a Boros icon, which is part of what makes me remember it. Alright, let's battle. Land, pass the turn. Like in game number 2 of match 1, we need some creatures here. Basic Plains, sure. Cycle Architects. Free Wraith, I like that. Play the Swamp, pass the turn. Our hand is looking very good. Don't know what they're playing yet, but our hand is very strong. Other Plains. Raffine's Informant. So they could discard a Prismatic Strands here, and then I cannot kill them with Drannith Stingers. They discard a Faithless Loot. Okay, so they're on Boros. If we have the opportunity, we should consider trying to win on our turn. So that's 4 guaranteed creatures, another Reaping the Graves. I don't know, maybe we should. Okay, let's cycle. A Troll of Khazad-dûm. Let's cycle that. So we've already played our land for turn, but it's another creature in the graveyard. So that mana is going to make up for it. Songs of the Damned. That's card number 6. Lotus Petal can be number 7. We'll make a blue. Ball Ritual. And then Reaping the Graves for 4. We'll return everything that isn't the Troll of Khazad-dûm. We might not win this turn. I just want to throw that out there. We are trying to push the envelope a little bit. Well, that Songs of the Damned is certainly a good cycle. Blood Celebrant, feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Let's use that blue mana now. Aquafire, and we'll cycle Architect. Again, we'll cycle. Let's use this island and we'll cycle the Imposing Vantasaur, just to get that little bit of extra mana out of our Songs of the Damned. Okay, cycle Imposing Vantasaur. We're not out of the clear yet. Like a Repository Scob might end the game at this point, but we still need more mana. I'm just cycling. Alright, so Reaping the Graves will have 2 mana floating, which isn't a whole ton. We do have 1 Street Wraith in the graveyard. There's the Street Wraith. We'll click on that first. Alright, cycle. Boy doesn't help us here. Cycle again. We bricked. Cycle the Horror. There's the Scob. So we're going to have to pass here. We're going to discard Theater and the Aquafire and Troll of Khazad-dûm. Okay. 3rd basic Plains. Quadrant Hawk. If I can draw like a Dark Ritual or Lotus Petal for turn, we can play Repository Scob getting back the songs. But right now we're a little choked on mana. This puts me to 11. Draw for turn. Another Theater. This could go get the last Swamp out of the deck. Maybe we'll do that. And then on their end step, I can do Hottest Ploy. Alright, pass the turn. Basilisk Gate. 4 mana. Guardian of the Guild Pact. Okay. They attack for 4. I'll go to 8 life. And then on their end step, we will go up to 9 for a Hottest Ploy. Discard the Troll of Khazad-dûm. Now we can attempt to do something again. So, land number 5. Repository Scob. We'll exploit the Scob and return Songs of the Damned. Cycle a Street Wraith. Make 12 mana. Let's start cycling. You might be saying, why not try to win from here? I think that it's not a good use of your mana. Cycle a Vantasaur. Because, like, you could end up fizzling by playing out a Stinger, and that Stinger could have been a draw to help you dig a little bit deeper. Alright, we're running out of resources here. Songs of the Damned. Alright, so now we need to find another Reaping the Graves. Let's jumpstart the Dahada's Ploy. Discard this Maestro's Theater. A pair of Street Wraith. I think you're supposed to discard the Lotus Petal here. Alright, so we're at 15. We're going to go down to 11 and cycle these two, though. Cycling. Lotus Petal. Alright, we have 3 Reaping the Graves and a Mystical Teachings that we'd like to hit here. So, 4 hits out of 17 cards. We're roughly 25%. Cycle. Troll of Khazad-dûm. That is not good enough here. I mean, I could play it, but going to block Raffine's Informant, and that's about it. What to do? I think I'm going to pass. So you could play out the Troll of Khazad-dûm. You would have to go Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal. So you're burning 3 resources and you're Reaping the Grave stack in order to make a blocker. I just don't think that's what we want to do. Journey to Nowhere. So that's actually pretty huge, because that means that I no longer have a Blood Celebrant for the rest of the game, so I have to win off Lotus Petals. They pump their Squadron Hawk, and now they can attack for 7. So what seemed like an unlosable game, we sort of just fizzled and didn't hit our payoffs. And while Dahada's Ploy was decent, Mystical Teachings would have won there. Alright, so there's a Stinger. We have 2 Lotus Petals, so we have 2 opportunities to make red. We need to hit. Cycle. We bricked. That is game number 1. This is a very good matchup, and the bottom 14 cards of our deck had 4 cards we needed in it. Brutal. Looks like it wasn't even close, though. We are multiple turns away. So maybe it should be 2 Teachings, no Ploy. Alright, so we're facing red. Or, I'm sorry, Boros. A lot of these Boros decks, I mean, it's been a little bit since I've checked, but I'm pretty sure they play a bunch of relics in the sideboard. Alright, so it looks like they have a single relic in their sideboard. That's tough. So I think we probably want the Flaring Pain for Prismatic Strands. And then you can board in a few lands and a couple copies of Ingot Chewer, maybe. That's 65. Board out a few Lotus Petals. And then we'll board out 2 Architects and 1 more card. Running out of time here. Let's board out 1 Swamp. We boarded in 2 lands. Boarding out a basic seems... Sure, we'll try this. Play the Geothermal Bog and we'll pass the turn. They play a Gate. Draw. Swamp, pass. They play a Heap, Gate. 2 mana. Raffine's Informant. Okay. Battle Screech, it's a good one. Cycle an Architects. And a Horror of the Broken Lands. We'll draw another land. Okay, so at this point we're really just looking for Reaping the Grave. Another copy of Raffine's Informant. Another Battle Screech. Okay. They get in. We go to 17. On their end step, we'll cycle. Again. And again. Plenty of creatures. We just have to find a Reaping the Graves. There we go. Alright, so I think we should cycle here to see if we can draw into something that creates Storm. Because right now this would only be a Reaping for 3. Cycle down to 15. I think I'm going to pass the turn. Let's just go grab our island and we'll try next turn. Like, I could have gone off 3 draws with Dark Ritual Song's Reaping, but it just seems really risky. Right, so they're attacking for 6. This would put me to 10. Dawnbringer Cleric. They're going to exile my Stinger. That's fine. On their end step, we'll cycle another one. And a healer. Looking for spells. Okay, there's the spell. Draw. Another land. Dark Ritual. So this is going to be a draw 4. We've definitely seen a lot of lands this game, so hopefully we don't see too many. Reaping the Graves. Street Wraith, and then a couple other creatures. We can just return everything here. We have plenty of mana. Cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. Repository Scob. It's not a bad one. So we can return Songs or Reaping, which means we need to draw one of them. Glaring Pain. A lot of duds in a row there. Right, Cycle the Horror. We fizzled. Multiple bad draws in a row. Okay, so I think we're probably just dead. Yeah. What's a line that wins? I guess that's a question we should be asking ourselves. The Maestro's Theater actually doesn't have a land to get here, although it could gain us a life. So we have 8 total mana. We could Repository Scob for Reaping the Graves. And then we'd have 1 mana left over. 2 with a land drop. So you can just say, like, I'm going to draw enough off Street Wraith and 1 Cycler to win. You could try to Repository Scob, play Maestro's Theater, try to live for a turn. But that doesn't make sense because they just have lethal on board. So I think we're praying for a miracle here. We're definitely seeing the fail rate of the deck this match, because this is a very good matchup. We'll grab Reaping the Graves. So this is Storm 6. Return the Scob. Street Wraith first. Alright, so we need to draw into Songs of the Damned, Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, something like that. Okay, so now it needs to be Dark Ritual or Songs of the Damned. Before. And that's the game. Alright, so we lost. Our deck just failed this match. Boros really is a really positive matchup for us, but the deck just didn't cooperate. That's sometimes what happens when you're not playing, like, mono red or whatever. But this is my deck. I'm going to keep playing it, and let's see if we can go win match number 3. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Alright, match number 3 on the draw. We will keep Affinity. Okay. Play the Swamp. We'll pass. Vault of Whispers into Ichor Wellspring. On their end step, let's go get our Contaminated Aquifer so that way we have blue mana. And then still in the upkeep, we will cycle just to thin our deck. We'll go grab a Swamp. Just reduces the risk of potentially drawing extra land. Alright, so they play a second copy of Vault of Whispers into Frogmite. Heart Clan Shaman, you've got it. Swamp and we'll pass. Deadly Dispute. Close. Reckoner's Bargaining. The opponent swings, we'll take 3 down to 17. Blood Fountain. Okay, sure. Discards a Thoughtcast. So they're looking for blue mana. They find it with the Mistvault Bridge. We'll cycle. Okay, so we have 4 creatures in graveyard. The Hada's Ploy. Cycle another healer. Maybe this really should just be another Mystical Teachings. Like, every time I've drawn this card this league, I wish it was a teaching. Let's burn a Dark Ritual. See how we can progress our game plan here. Cycle. And again. Found a Lotus Petal. Dark Ritual. Cycle a Stinger. Like, in fact, if this was a Mystical Teachings, it alone would have won the game because we could Teachings for Songs and then flash it back for Reaping the Graves. We have 11 cards in graveyard. 2 of them are spells, so it would make 9 mana. I mean, it's close, plus a pair of Dark Rituals and Lotus Petals. I think that actually would have been enough to get the job done. Alright, we hit Songs. Let's burn a Dark Ritual so that way I can cast this and jumpstart it. This could be a guaranteed Reaping the Graves. Let's see what it draws into. Discard Dark Ritual. We go up to 21. We'll cast the Cabal Ritual. Cycle the Architects. 37 cards in deck. Okay, so we need this jumpstart on the ploy to hit here. Blue. Discard Theater. We got lucky. We got very lucky that we hit. I'll be honest, I'm probably not playing the ploy after this league. I think it's just too risky. It should just be Mystical Teaching. Alright. Storm 10, Reaping the Graves. Cycle, 28 life. 26 life. And if you're thinking about like, oh, well, what about the life gain, Bryant? Like, isn't that relevant? It is. I don't want to say that it's not. But something I've been doing is not playing the hottest ploy at all. And instead you just lean on what your deck naturally does, which is Drannith Healer. So if you're in a situation where you need to gain life, you just play out the healer. And I've been having a lot of success doing that. So we could play Repository Scob for Songs of the Damned. But the problem with that line is that our opponent's holding open a red mana, so Galvanic Blast is a concern. They also have the onboard Cart Clan Shaman. Let's see some mana. Nope. Cycle. Another Reaping. Cycle. And we fizzled. Okay. Let's gain a life and search out the final basic. There might be two, actually. Nope, just the one. We discarded the other swamp. Alright, so now we'll go to clean up and get rid of these trolls. They play a Thoughtcast, Seat of the Synod, Mirror Enforcer, the Artificer, which turns their land into an indestructible creature. And they're taking shields down for red mana. So that means that if they want to kill my Repository Scob, they would have to sacrifice part of their board. Play them out. Or, I'm sorry, the swamp. Okay, am I allowed to have Songs of the Damned? That's up to you. Wait. Looks like I am. Get back songs. 15 mana. Cycle. Cabal Ritual. Cycle again. Another songs. It is free for us to put the troll into the graveyard because the mana we spend will replace itself with the Songs of the Damned. Cycle the healer. Alright, so we just have a ton of mana here. 51 mana. Just return some stuff. 17 cards left in deck. We'd like to find the Blood Celebrant, because that would just close out this game very quickly. Opposing Vantasaur. We'll cycle another healer. Cycle. Another Teachings. We don't need that at this point. Cycle a Stinger. Horror of the Broken Lands. Street Wraith. Horror. Where are you, my bloody friend? Okay. 6 cards left in deck. Play some Lotus Petals. Drannith Stinger. We'll cycle. Healer. Okay. Just return what we can. Stinger. Street Wraiths. Alright. Drannith Stinger. We'll play another. And another. Cycle Street Wraith. Songs of the Damned. Okay. Cycle a Horror. And our bottom card, our very last card, is the Blood Celebrant. Let's just cycle. We don't want to draw this card because we have no deck left. So, just to make note, we don't want to do that. They might actually, if they on F6, they might actually get me here. I'm 1 damage short. Clicking as fast as I can. Okay, they didn't on F6, so therefore we get to win. But if they had on F6 there and used their Cart Clan Shaman, they could have forced me in a position to lose. I could have played around that by playing the Reaping early, but I thought it didn't matter. So a little bit of sloppy play on my part. We'll bring in the red sources and the Ingot Chewers. I generally like boarding out the Architects when I'm boarding in all the Ingot Chewers like this. Against Mono Red, I board out the Street Wraiths. When I'm boarding in lands like this against another fast deck, I like boarding out the Swamp. Just because you're boarding up 2 lands, you can afford to board out 1. And then probably a Lotus Petal. Game number 2, this seems like a fine hand, maybe a little bit slow, but you're not going to mulligan Reaping the Graves, a Ritual, a land, and Cycler. We just want to find another land. And Troll of Khazad-dûm fits that bill. Okay, let's go grab our Mountain. Just in case they play a Nile Spellbomb later, we have the mana. We boarded in the Ingot Chewers. I think it will be a good move. Frogmite. Okay. Upkeep, let's go get a Swamp. Draw for turn. Aquafire. Sure. Pass. They play a Bridge, Thoughtcast, Blood Fountain. Once again, I think the biggest thing about this new list, and granted, I don't think Cycle Storm is like a major competitor in Pauper at the moment, but we now have mana consistency that the deck really hasn't had before between the Maestro's Theater and Troll of Khazad-dûm. Like, it's really easy to get all of your colors. I guess that's my point. They play the Artificer. Sure. Mirror Enforcer. Will they attack? They do. Okay. We're going to go to 14. We theoretically have a window to try to win on it. Our opponent tapped out. They disrespected us. In fact, I believe they said in their exact words, I don't think you can win the game. We're going to try to prove them wrong. Okay. Another land. Not the worst, but we could use like a Songs of the Damned or a Dark Ritual. Did not need another land. Ingot Chewer. Alright, so 4, 5, 10 damage. So we're dead to a Galvanic Blast. Could also just play out a blocker. Let's go to 12 and cycle. Okay. Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. We'll evoke Ingot Chewer for Storm. Killing Mirror Enforcer. Play out the Blood Celebrant. Play our land for turn. Actually, maybe it should be. So I could do Repository Scob for Cabal Ritual, but it's -1 mana, but +2 Storm. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures, but one of them is a troll. I think we should just reap Graves. Okay, Street Wraith, and then the rest. So this could be a spot that I play out Healer just to gain life. I don't hate it. Then we'll cycle the Vantasaur, going up to 12, making up for the 1 life. Another Street Wraith. We'll add a red here. I'll go back down to 11. Evoke the Ingot Chewer. Killing the Frogmite. Pass the turn. Thicker Wellspring, sure thing. Another Seat. Deadly Dispute, okay. They're making a white. They found the Spell Bomb. Oh, that's brutal. Okay. I mean, we're in a decent spot here. We can definitely recover. They have 4 in hand. They're choosing to not attack. Galvanic Blast on the healer. I'm going to cycle the Street Wraiths in response, because this way they're only -1 life. Another land. Dark Ritual. Okay. On deck. Opposing Vantasaur. I could play out the Vantasaur here. That's an option. So another thing we could do is try to get them to sacrifice the Spell Bomb using a Repository Scob. But I don't want to do that yet. I think I just have to pass. 10 minutes on the clock. I just need to play a little quicker. Great Furnace, 4 mana. What is going on here? Blood Fountain. Okay. No blocks. I'll go to 5. They play the Frog and the Mirror Enforcer. Alright, so we need to find Reaping the Graves and like an Ingot Chewer. Those are really the cards we want here. Songs of the Damned. Okay. Reaping the Graves. Nope. Draw. Stinger. Alright, so this is really our only shot. I just have to take it. Repository Scob. We'll exploit it. Attempt to return Reaping the Graves. They allow me to do that. Dark Ritual. Am I allowed to have a Cabal Ritual? What about a Songs of the Damned? Alright, so if we cycle Stinger into one of our 3 Ingot Chewers, we can punish their Spell Bomb here. Come on, deck, pretty please. Another Reaping the Graves could also do it. Alright, let's try to win this. Repository Scob is our target. Firm is 5. So we can let them pay a black, and then we're going to respond to this. This is actually the wrong time to use the Spell Bomb, because my trigger is still on the stack, which means I can return 4 creatures later. We'll return the Stinger. Repository Healer, some Street Wraiths, Ingot Chewer, Scob. Sure. We'll do this. A little bit nervous here. So now this will exile. Now we have 4 Reaping the Graves triggers. So let's cycle. We have 7 mana. Theater. Cycle a healer. Songs of the Damned. So I can go to 3 and cycle a Street Wraith. Cycle Horror. I'm going to Songs here. Alright, now we can return 4. We're at 3 life. We're not out of the waters yet. Make a white. Play healer. Like, I don't think I'm going to win this turn. I'm just trying to stabilize. Cycle. Cycle. Again. This brings us up to 5. That's 7 minutes. Cycle a Street Wraith. This brings us down to 4. 3. Songs makes how much here? 5, so 6. Then if they have another Galvanic Blast, let's cycle the horror. Dark Ritual. Make it red. Evoke the Ingot Chewer. Destroy the Enforcer. Make a red. Ingot Chewer. Destroy Frogmite. We'll go to 1 life. Ingot Chewer. And now it's between the Great Furnace and the Blood Token. They have a red source with the bridge, so I'm going to go with the Blood Token. Pass. Podcast. They play a land, 5 cards. Chromatic Star. Munitions. Okay, I'm dead. Game 3. I did what I could. We just were a little bit short at a couple different points that game. 6 minutes on the clock. Can I do it? Submit. Gonna have to play fast. Alright. Keep. Theater. Triggers. Triggers. Swamp. Pass the turn. We play bridge. Cycle. Pass. This is not a spot or a matchup that I think you want to burn Dark Ritual to cycle 3 times. They have Relic. Wow. Okay. Remove the theater. Draw. Well, we have Lotus Petal Ingot Chewer. Use it. They have Spellbomb and Relic. Cycle the Vantasaur. Pass. Chromatic Star. No second land. There's a land for us. Cycle. Land number 3. Cycle a healer. Okay. Next turn, if I was gonna say if they missed their land drop, I could try to play a horror, and then just attack them for lethal next turn. But now they have Metalcraft. We'll play the theater. Grab our mountain. Pass the turn. We'll try to win next turn, I think. They make a red. Chromatic Star. Okay, so shields down. Your Enforcer. Cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. Cycle Healer. We need a Songs of the Day. Draw. Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Cycle a Stinger. Let's play one of these for Storm. We got the Enforcer. Land for turn. Reaping the Graves. Okay, come on, deck. Songs is very good there. Cycle. Okay, so now we need to find... There's the Blood Celebrant. I think we're going to try to speed this up. I'm going to play out a Stinger on the next one. Full Songs. Celebrant. Stinger. Red. Ingot Chewer. Kill their land. Reaping for a graveyard. 3 minutes. I don't know if I can do this time. Cycle. Probably needed like to play out horror if I wanted to win in time. 3 minutes is not a lot. Come on, Cabal Ritual. That doesn't do it. Cycle. Cycle. Cycle again. They're at 15. Okay. 2.5 minutes. They're at 15 life. They play a Thoughtcast. They play a land. Galvanic Blast on my Stinger. Spellbomb. Spellbomb's a little annoying here. Alright. Ingot Chewer. Blow up the Spellbomb. Songs. Okay. We're going to play Horror. Play the Aquafire. Make a red. Cast the Chewer. Kill the Frogmite. Attack. 2 minutes. Can we do it? They have 4 cards in it. Ichor Wellspring with a bridge up. Come on, no Galvanic Blast. Pretty please. Black mana. They're using the Blood Token. That's a good sign. I don't know why it ruined my clock for that. I don't know if you saw, but my clock went down. They play a blocker. Let's evoke. Kill the frog. Cycle a healer. Cycle a dinosaur. Songs. Petal. Reaping for 4. This should do it. 1 minute left. Cycle. Wow, what a nail biter. Can't believe we got that. We are 2-1. So we've beaten Tron and Affinity. You know, Affinity's arguably the second best deck in the format. Tron's a terrible matchup. We did lose to a good one, but that deck's showing some promise so far. I've really liked the mana base so far. Ingot Chewer as a 4-of has been pretty impressive. Let's see if we can maybe win the last two. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Alright, match number 4 on the play. Mulligan. So this is essentially a 3-lander. We'll keep this bottom one of the lands. Play the theater. Auto yield to some triggers. Grab the island, because we can upkeep cycle for the swamp. A bridge, okay. So that could mean Boros, it could mean the Jeskai Ephemerate deck, we'll find out. Swamp, draw. Another land, pass. Alright, well, it's not likely Jeskai. Let's see if we can get some redemption for match number 2. Cycle, draw. Another land, pass. The opponent attacks, we'll go back down to 20. Raven Inspector, sure. Cycle, actually I should use the island. Because if I draw into a Horror of the Broken Lands, I want to be able to cycle it. Okay. Keeping the Graves, please. Nope. We'll pass. We draw a card using a clue. Experimental Synthesizer. Okay. They find another mountain. Glint Hawk, they'll pick up the synthesizer. And another Glint Hawk. So if they have a plains, they could play, but it doesn't appear that they do. So we'll take 2 down to 18. Then they'll play Lembas, which says when enters the battlefield, scry 1, draw, and then draw a card. And then you can pay 2 mana, sacrifice it, gain 3 life. When this card is put into a graveyard, you can shuffle it back into your. Okay, we need to find something good off this Street Wraith. Repository Scop has 0 targets, but if we were lucky enough to draw a Reaping the Graves, then this would have been a good draw. Cycle. We have bricked. We have to pass. 43 cards in deck. They find a Lightning Bolt. So they can attack for 4, Lightning Bolt me, that's 7, so I would go to 9. They have Metalcraft for Galvanic Blast. So it's looking like I might be dead if I don't draw something. Okay. Munitions. Please, deck. Pretty please. The last fetchable. We flooded hard this game. Guess I could try to play out Scop as a blocker, maybe divert some attention. Okay, pass the turn. They bolt me, I'm probably dead here. So they attack for 2 in the air. I go to 4, yeah, I'm dead. Once again, the fail rate happened. We saw almost a third of our deck, but that was not good enough. Okay, they're just toying with me here. Like, they've already have this one. They must have, like, a bolt or something in hand. Because they're not going to use the munitions to kill me. Draw. We missed on that draw step, too. Okay. We lost that. Recent lists have 2 relics in the board and 4 main deck Prismatic Strands. Okay, so we need the Flaring Pain. Let's bring in the red sources, some Ingot Chewers. We could try the second to Hottest Ploy. Board out a Swamp. Try boarding out Street Wraiths versus the deck with a ton of burn. At 63 cards. Take out the Teachings. I mean, you're swapping Teachings and Ploy here. That's 62. Try 2 less Lotus Petals. Submit. Sure, we'll try it. Pass. On their end step, we will cycle. Roll of Khazad-dûm. Cycle that. Grab the Bog. And then we draw the mountain. Okay. You got it. Draw for turn. Phantasy. We'll pass. They attack for 3, we go to 17. And talk, so they can pick up the Barbed Batter Fist, and it gives them an extra creature. Yep. Looks like this list might not be playing Prismatic Strands. We're going to have to see a little bit more, but I might need to board out the Flaring Pain if there is a game number 3. Cycle. Cycle again. Theater. Draw. Okay, so we have cards this time. Let's cycle the Stinger. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Cycle Stinger. Play the Blood Celebrant. Songs of the Damned. Reaping for 6. Stinger, and then some other creatures. Not returning the Troll. We don't need that. So you could try to play out double stinger here and start pinging, but you just don't have enough resources to actually win the game. I don't think that's like a very good line. The hottest ploy, that's fine. Gain some life. Alright, well 2 ploys is a little awkward. We'll make a blue. Play the ploy. Discard the theater. Player land. Pass the turn. 25 is a pretty good life total. Relic. We do have the ingot chewer, but we don't really have a way to win right now. No blocks, we'll take it. Ooh, they're gonna kill my blood celebrant. That's not good. I could try to pivot into beatdown. I have 3 in hand. Dark Ritual. Troll of Khazad-dûm. Sure. Exile Maestro's Theater. They play Alimbas. Raven Inspector. They attack for 3. So their 3 creatures here would trade with my troll. Let's attack. No blocks, so they're going to take it. We'll play a Stinger. Pass the turn. They Lightning Bolt my Stinger. Another Barbed Batter Fist. Now they're swinging for 8. So my life total's dropping pretty quickly here. On their end step, we'll cycle. Cycle. Okay. What to do? Alright, I'm going to start by cycling a healer. Let's see what our options are. Okay, that was a good one. So, I am now going to blow up the relic. In response, I'll add a bunch of black mana. And jumpstart this to hottest ploy. We're ideally looking to draw into Reaping the Graves here. That did not happen. That we drew nothing. Discard the Flaring Pain. I don't think we're going to need that. That was actually extremely disappointing. I have to pass. I can't afford to attack here. They have Journey, so... I mean, I say Boros isn't a bad matchup. In fact, historically, I'm super favored here, but today in this league, Boros is wiping the table with me. They attack for lethal. Okay. Well, I promise you, Boros really isn't a bad matchup. I don't know what else I can say. It's really not, but we've lost to it twice. Let's see if we can just win match number 3 and finish with a positive record. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. The 5th and final match, we're on the play. So this hand is like a 4-lander? I guess so. I mean, we do have 2 cyclers. Let's see if we can make it work. I mean, Maestro's Theaters are likely to buy some time as well. I'm not sure what our opponent's playing, but it is 3 life. Boros! Alright. Let's see if I can lose a 3rd time. Cycle the Troll. We'll grab the Aquafire. Songs of the Damned. Grab a Swamp. Pass. I'm going to be so sad if I lose to Boros 3 times in this league. I promise it's not a bad matchup. Alright, let's see if we can get this one. So we thinned a bunch of lands out of our deck at this point. Good. Ouch. 22. They play the Barbed Batter Fist. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that this version doesn't play Prismatic Strand, so unless I see it, I'm not going to board it in for the next. Alright, draw. No Reaping the Graves, 44 cards in deck currently. So they're attacking for 4, we'll drop down to 18 life. Ichor Wellspring, and a land. Okay. Wind Talk. So they could pick up the Ichor Wellspring here. They do. We'll cycle a Drannith Healer. Cycle Architects. Alright, down to 16. And another land. Alright, so this next draw brings us 33% of the way through. Ding! Dark Ritual. Songs of the Damned. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. We're going to hold priority on the songs and then cast Reaping the Graves. Basically, I think that we can get a little bit more juice out of this. We'll target the Troll last. Street Wraith. Then the others. Actually, come to think of it, I should have... Hold on. Yeah, there's one more Swamp in the deck. So I'm actually going to change my plan a little bit here. I'm going to let all of these resolve. and then we're going to pull that swamp out. This way I don't accidentally draw the swamp off one of my other cyclers. I messed that up. This replaces itself, so I guess we'll put it to the graveyard. There's no land to grab, though. Cycle the Street Wraith. Cycle Horror. Other songs. We have to find a Reaping now. Dark Ritual. Cycle Vantasaur. Uh-oh. Our last draw. Cycle. We missed. Oh, no. I guess we're going to cast a Troll. Okay, so I guess if I had known I was going to fizzle, I could have not have cycled the spare Troll, and then I could have put 2 Trolls into play. So, arguably a misplay on my part for assuming that I would eventually draw into something. Because I could have had 2 Trolls of Khazad-dûm in play. They move over the Barbed Batterfist and they attack. I go to 11. Ichor Wellspring is back. I am not attacking with this, by the way. This is just on defense. They pick up the Ichor Wellspring again. Cycle a Stinger. Brings me to 9. Alright. Cycle the Healer. We bricked. 50% of the way through the deck. No Mystical Teachings. Only 1 Reaping the Graves. No Repository Scob. We also didn't hit the Ploy, by the way. Probably dead here. They put me to 4 and then just like Galvanic Blast kills me. If they would have attacked with one of their creatures, Lightning Bolt would have killed me. Sure. What is this? Sack a permanent, deals 4 to any target. Well, this kills me. So, Boundary Helix. I don't think I've ever seen this card before. Obviously, it's from Modern Horizons 2. So it's been around for a while. I've just never seen it. Our next card would have been Vantasaur into Ploy. And that would have gotten there eventually. But we weren't able to get that draw step, so it doesn't matter. We were a draw too slow. We'll bring in the red sources and Ingot Chewers. Board out 1 Swamp. Board out these Architects. I think I just want to be fast, and I think Street Wraith allows that to happen. I'm going to leave in Street Wraith. And then we can board out 1 Lotus Petal. Game number 2, we're on the play. Yeah, this seems great. We'll play a turn 1 Geothermal Bog and pass the turn. They play a tap land. Draw. Other land. Okay. Not ideal. Grab our island. Ichor Wellspring, sure thing. On their end step, we'll cycle a Drannith Healing. Songs. Draw. We need more creatures. I don't think I'm supposed to... Like, you could be greedy here and blow up the Ancient Den. I'm not going to do that, because our opponent could untap and play a Relic, and then we'll need that Ingot. So, I'm choosing to play a little bit more conservatively. For a Skyfisher, then they play the Fisher, pick up the Ichor Wellspring, probably. Nope, they choose the Synth. They exile Galvanic Blast. Okay. Let's cycle Street Wraith. Cycle the Horror, Wraith, and another Chewer. Okay. We'll cycle a Stinger. I think I'm good here blowing up a land when I have 2 of them. Let's blow up the Great Furnace. Pass the turn. So we're going to take 2 down to 15. Synthesizer is back. Boros Garrison. They float a white, and now I think that they're going to return their Ancient Den here. Draw. Roll of Khazad-dûm. Let's thin our deck of a land, I guess. Play the Aquafire. Pass the turn. So far today, I think my evaluation of this list is that there's some consistency issues. We're not finding Reaping the Graves a lot of the time, which is weird because in the past I've played 2 teachings for Reaping the Graves and it's just been delightful. But all of a sudden in this league, I've lost to the Boros decks mostly, in my opinion, because I've just failed to find my key card. And that's been the biggest issue. 2 mana here. Dawnbringer Cleric. That removes one of our cyclers. They go after the Stinger. Okay. I could play the Ingot Chewer to block, but like I don't think it's worth potentially losing to a Relic. I'm just going to pass. They attack for 3. I go to 10. Windhawk. Okay. They reveal Plains. They play it. 8 cards in their hand. Synthesizer is back. They have a tap land in exile that they cannot play because they've already played a land. Raven Inspector. I mean, come on, deck. If I don't draw something now, I'm probably dead next. Another troll. This has just been defeating. Like, I don't know. Just flooding nonstop. Maybe with trolls, I'm allowed to go. It feels ridiculous to say maybe I'm allowed to go less than 10 lands, but maybe you want 9. I don't have the answer. I just feel like I flooded and not found my cards a whole lot this league. And it's also really weird that it's only happened against Boros, which has given me 7 turns to win the game, and I haven't been able to do it. So I have 5 mana in play. If I songs, I go up to 10. Khazad-dûm plus Ingot Chewer's 11 is blockers, trying to buy some time. So I'd have to burn Songs of the Damned, Lotus Petal, and I guess burning resources is better than dying. Troll of Khazad-dûm. Play Lotus Petal. Cast the Ingot Chewer. Blow up a clue. I don't know. I guess I could have hit the synthesizer. Another thing I could do, and I mean, I've really liked Ingot Chewer because of the fact that it's only 1 red. You can blow up a relic on turn 1. But maybe, and I'm just talking out loud here, maybe I should go back to something like Shredded Sails because it can cycle and we're less concerned about efficiency and more concerned with just not fizzling. It's a thought. I don't know. They bolt me and now I'm dead. Alright, well, I lost the Boros 3 times. We went 2-3, not the best record. We didn't face mono red at all. That said, mono red, though, would not have given me 7 turns. So we saw some consistency issues with this list today. I am not interested in playing Dahada's Ploy anymore. So something we can do. And I started this in between rounds 4 and 5. I want to go back to 2 copies of Mystical Teachings. I think that's step number 1. And then I think maybe we go back to Shredded Sails. So let's do that. I was also thinking about Dust to Dust, but I think I just want Shredded Sails. Like, I want the ability to cycle and not fizzle. Like, Ingot Chewer is fine this league, but I think we need to be able to cycle and cast our spells. So let's get rid of this. So I have 1 open slot in my sideboard that is currently represented by the Shredded Sails. I don't know what this should be. I don't think you need 5 artifact removal spells. I think that's probably too many. So this should do something else. You could play 1 Exhume, but I think that's kind of random. So I'm not super interested in that. But there's some card you could put here. It could be Suffocating Fuse if you want. But I'm not really in love with those style of effects. Like, I just don't know what this slot should be. I guess that's my point. So with the addition of Troll of Khazad-dûm, maybe we don't need Ingot Chewer anymore because our creature count's already so high. Like, we're at 30 creatures in our deck. And if you board out Architects or Street Wraiths, you're still at 26, which is a pretty high number. So that's what I've got for now. Let me know if you have any ideas, thoughts, or suggestions in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.